Olá, boa tarde a todos. Eu sou a Marisa Viana, diretora fundadora da Xmart Viaja. Xmart, uma consultoria de marketing em turismo. E hoje estamos aqui com um convidado muito especial do grupo Mandarin Oriental, que vai contar para nós um pouquinho desse mundo da hotelaria de alto padrão que faz parte esse grupo maravilhoso Mandarin Oriental. O Bruno vai entrar aqui um pouquinho para bater um papo rapidamente com a gente. E em seguida entra o Phillip Peña, que é diretor de vendas do grupo Mandarin Oriental e fica no escritório de Nova York. Oi, Bruno.
Olá, boa tarde.
Boa tarde, linda tarde. Tudo bem?
Tudo certo.
Tudo.
Frio, mas
Como está?
seguimos. Essa é a segunda live que a gente vai fazer com o hoteleiro do Mandarim Oriental, né? A primeira foi aquela com o Duarte Corrêa de Canoã, que deu super certo, resultou em vendas, inclusive, né?
Verdade. Mas hoje é um pouquinho diferente, né? Conta aí
Sim.
para os nossos convidados o que vai ser o nosso papo de hoje. Só um spoilerzinho.
Pequeno spoiler, então, o Phillip Peña, ele é o diretor regional de vendas do Grupo Mandarim Oriental, que cuida de todo o mercado das Américas. Então, não só do Brasil, mas ele cuida também da parte de trade nos Estados Unidos e no Canadá. Ele fica no escritório corporativo de Nova York, já veio ao Brasil algumas vezes para participar dos nossos roadshows, da LTM também Latin America. E é muito legal todo o suporte que o Phillip tem dado para a gente em todas as ações que a gente faz aqui no mercado brasileiro, e inclusive é um super incentivador aqui do projeto XMARTing, tem assistido, tem ajudado a gente junto aos hotéis, vem outros mandarim participar de lives em breve, aí a gente está para anunciar isso, e o Phillip tem uma visão muito global, né, do que está acontecendo na indústria do turismo, do que é o Grupo Mandarim Oriental, e também da importância que o mercado brasileiro tem para eles, tanto que eles continuam investindo aqui, e por isso ele topou falar com a gente.
Exatamente. E o Philip, como o Bruno falou, fica no escritório de Nova York, a quem nós nos reportamos e trazemos sempre as nossas ideias super inovadoras, às vezes até para o grupo Mandarim Oriental, mas eles também nos inspiram bastante, né? Você pode dizer isso, que esteve aí em várias propriedades aí recentemente na China.
Com
Me conta.
certeza, eu dei uma boa rodada aí nos últimos anos para aumentar a minha coleção de hotéis de Mandarim Oriental visitado e ver como é que eles fazem lá fora, né? Então, no passado eu tive em 6 hotéis lá da Ásia, no retrasado em outros 6 na Europa, e estou sempre tentando aprender com eles o que é esse grupo, e o Philip certamente tem muito a contar para a gente aí, inclusive de novidade, do que o grupo tem feito nesses tempos aí, para continuar sendo esse grupo tão fantástico e tão admirado no mundo inteiro.
Só no ano passado também eu estive em 3 hotéis na Europa, foi Londres, Milão e Como. E tive em 2 hotéis nas Américas, Miami e Canoã.
Caramba.
E você esteve, sua última viagem internacional foi para Canoã.
Exatamente, foi para o Mandarim de Miami e o Mandarim Oriental de Canoã.
Exatamente. Então,
Exatamente.
estamos super atualizados aí. Quem tiver dúvidas, agora é a hora para tirar aí e interagir com a gente aí nessa live maravilhosa. Bruno,
Boa
me
live.
despeço aqui de você e vou chamar aqui o Philip Penha.
Tchau, tchau.
Tchau. Vamos lá. Tecnologia tem que ajudar, né? Aqui já chamando o Philip e vai contar um pouquinho da história do mandarim. Oi, Philip, como você vai? Tudo bem?
Tudo bem? Olá. Bom,
Olá.
bom, bom tarde,
Boa
Marisa.
tarde.
Boa tarde.
Ok.
I'm still practicing my Portuguese.
Yes. Do you let us speak in English, so not in Spanish, because you speak Spanish, right?
Um poquito, claro.
Un poquito. Okay. Can you position your camera a little bit more like for you to be in the center? Great. Oops. Not that much. Boa
Better?
tarde, Flávia. Boa tarde, Elisa, Laura. Tudo bem, Carol? Everybody's here to listen and to learn a little bit about Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group. Tell me, Philip, when did you start working and what exactly you do? But also, who are you? What you like most? You like cooking? What did you discover during the pandemic? Tell me.
Oh gosh, well, I think we might need 2 hours for all those questions to be answered.
Okay.
I want to say, first off, Marisa, thank you so much for inviting me to participate today. Very excited, very honored. As you know, we've been, working together for many, many years, but more closely over the last 3 years. And so it's just really wonderful to be part of these Xmart live events. And we really appreciate the opportunity to be your guest today. I would say that I wish I was at the beach. I'll be honest. The pandemic has been really difficult. I'm actually live here in New York City, in Manhattan, where I live and reside and work. And you'll see behind me where I wish I was right now, which is the beach. So this is the closest I can get to the beach, which is this beautiful photo of this ocean behind me. So I'd like to pretend I'm in Canada right now on the beach, getting the suntan, drinking a caipirinha, something, except being here in New York. But this is the next best thing, is speaking to you today and all of our customers and our clients in Brazil and all over the world. So thank you for having me today. And so I think, yes, I think one of the questions that you asked me is, how long have I been with Mandarin Oriental? I've been with Mandarin Oriental now for 7 years. I can't believe it's been 7 years. I have been in the global sales office here in the New York team for 7 years. Most recently, though, I started to expand my roles and responsibilities. And so I oversee the Americas team that is selling transient, so for corporations and for our travel industry partners. So I oversee the team here in the Americas. And that's why we're partnered together with you there in Brazil, Marisa. You're an extension of what we do, and we need you in Brazil to help us secure the business and bring customers to us. So we work together as a team. I have, like I said, a wide and varied experience. I actually, prior to Mandarin, was on the corporate travel buyer side. I worked for a large corporation, one of the large international banks based here in New York. But prior to that, you can certainly find my resume on LinkedIn, but you'll see I've worked for some of the best. I worked for Four Seasons for most of my career. I've even worked for Ritz-Carlton. I worked for a wonderful Relais and Chateau property in Washington, Connecticut, which is now part of the Auberge family. So I have some pretty strong pedigree in the luxury travel space. And, certainly it's my passion, or I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. It's, so wonderful to represent a brand like Mandarin Oriental. We are truly the best of the best, and we have such a rich heritage that originates in Asia. And so many of the core values really speak to my core values. So it's been my home here at Mandarin for 7 years. So happy to be part of this group. And more importantly, during this time, it's been very challenging. And I think you would agree, Marisa, that, every day it brings a new set of rules, a new scenario. So we navigate these waters together, but I know and feel confident there is light at the end of the tunnel, and we will get there together.
Yeah, who would say we would be doing like lives every week and splitting, like exposing the news this way with this new technology? At least we have this technology, so thanks God. Let's see for the bright side of all this, and all these connections, and sharing these connections with our audience as well. This is another very important and interesting way of talking about Mandarin Oriental, I think. But let's go to the points that I like most, and I identify myself with the pillars and the way that Mandarin Oriental do promote their hotels, and what's the aim behind all these properties. which is besides all the people, of course, that are the most important assets, in my opinion, is that ideas and fundamentals that they have, and comes also from the Asian side of the company, but also the mix and the diversity of the cultures that you have inside one company, which is really, really interesting.
No, for certain. You know, as I mentioned, our brand is over 50 years old now, and we originated in Asia. That's where our roots are. Currently, for those that are not aware, we currently operate 33 hotels around the world in 23 locations and territories. We also operate 7 residences, and that's a key component of how we're growing and evolving as a brand. So we definitely have, you know, most of the key markets covered, and we keep expanding, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on in our conversation today, because we have some really exciting places that we'll be expanding to, and obviously anxious to share those. But certainly, you know, we're built on this Asian heritage, and that's a really strong foundation for our brand and for our company. Certainly, you know, we focus on uniqueness of place. So we certainly have some really unique locations, and each of them speak to the locale. But we're also focused on food and beverage. You know that many of our restaurants and our hotels have Michelin-rated star restaurants and food and beverage facilities. It's a really key component to our brand. But certainly also another one which is very relevant in today's times is wellness, and that's our spa and our wellness programs. Certainly, it's always been part of our culture, the wellness piece, but it really has a certain place at greater importance now. And we can talk a little bit about our response to that during this pandemic with our We Care program. But certainly wellness is a huge value. I would like to really kind of also share with everyone some of our guiding principles, because I think those are also relevant in today's time. Obviously, you know, we're in the hospitality business, so one of our principles in guiding, you know, mantras is to delight our guests. But it's also about delighting our colleagues. We want to ensure that we've hired the best and trained them to help, you know, deliver that service that we're known for. And it's all about becoming the best, right? And it's about working together. And that's a key principle for us, is that working together. But I think one of the ones that I'd like to focus on, if I may, just briefly, is how we act responsibly. That is a really important guiding principle for our group and for our brand. And, you know, it speaks to, you know, a lot of areas. It speaks to the We Care program, which is our response to health and safety during this COVID-19 time. But it's also about corporate social responsibility. You know, as an organization, as a company, we're very, very committed to ensuring that we're acting responsibly in the markets that we operate and where we have hotels. Mm-hmm. It's hugely valuable for us to be able to be sustainable over the long term. We really are committed to just entering into this time frame that we live in now very sustainably and responsibly. And we've developed something called the Naturally Better program. And without going into too much detail, because I do want to reserve some time for I'm sure many more questions that you have, but just overall, the Naturally Better program is divided into 3 categories. It's addressing what's good for the environment. And one of the commitments that Mandarin Oriental has at the moment is by March of 2021, we want to be a plastic-free organization. Right. And so in all of our hotels, we have a commitment that by March of 2021, 6 months away, we will be plastic-free. Now, obviously, that's a huge endeavor and one we're committed to and on track for. We're also very engaged with our communities. We work with local charities. We work with a lot of different causes that are related to communities. And if you look at our Instagram feed, I think you've tagged us, MO_hotels, you'll see some posts related to some of the things that we've done as it relates to the community and giving back. And certainly the last piece about our Naturally Better program is what we're doing for you, the guest and our travel advisor community and our meeting planning community. Those are the three areas that are part of this Naturally Better program, and one that we really are focused on, in this interim period as we continue to evolve and sort of recover from the current situation.
Yes, I like very much when you put together the program about mindful meetings, which I thought was totally making sense, not only because of this plastic free, but also because of health, food, and not just like that coffee full of caffeine that we need at the break, when you are in a meeting. So tell us more about this, because I'm really fan of this program.
No, it's a wonderful program, and thank you for bringing it forward. Certainly, I think the focus over the last several years has been wellness, and Mindful Meetings is a program that we developed that was with the focus and intent on encouraging meeting attendees. So we're talking about groups and events, and this could even be social events, right, or social gatherings. It's about being mindful that we want to help the attendees or the guests at these events and meetings be successful in what they came to achieve, whether that's to learn something new, or whether that's to solve the problems of the world, or it's whether to have a wonderful celebration. But the intent there is, we want to help you achieve that in a very mindful way, addressing wellness needs. We're busier than ever. We're focused on not only our mindfulness, but also our health, the mental health, the physical health, sleeping, all of that. So Mindful Meetings is a program that was developed really to enhance sort of those occasions and events. And the way we do that is we change out sort of the typical offerings that you would have at a hotel for an event or a social occasion with very healthy food and beverage offerings. Instead of the coffee, maybe it's a power boost, a juice, a delicious drink. Right now, we definitely could use one of those immunity boosting protein shakes that I love so much. Those are really helpful in times like this. So Mindful Meetings is really about helping to curate wellness into a program, whether it's for an event, whether it's for a social occasion, etc. So it's being mindful by incorporating wellness, particularly as it relates to food and beverage, but it can incorporate even some of the community outreach that I spoke about before. It's about going back to grassroots and giving back to the community. Sometimes that can be a component of this as well.
Yes, and wellness is in the DNA of Mandarin Oriental Group since ever, right?
Since the beginning, yes.
Yeah.
And when you really connect the dots there, it goes back to the Asian culture and our heritage, the wellness piece.
Yes, most of the hotels do have their own spa, and the famous ones like from Thailand, from Mandarin Oriental Bangkok, that was one of the first hotels that started the company together with Mandarin Oriental Hong Kong, right?
That's exactly right. Yes, it's the spa in all of our hotels is always a main focus and a main feature. So I highly encourage you, if you're visiting or you're sending clients to enjoy our properties, that they always schedule some spa time. But it goes beyond maybe what you would think is typical in spa. Some of the components that we've added on now, and certainly if you're familiar with our website, there's a lot of information. We have a whole section now on wellness, and that wellness again has transcended into greater importance during this time. There's some wonderful videos that you can look at that talk about stretching, breathing, sleep, meditation. So when we talk about wellness, it's not just about a spa treatment, right? Or a facial. We all love those, but it goes beyond that. It's about being healthy in spirit as well. And so we've got some wonderful tutorials that I encourage everyone to look at on our website that you you can access in your free time. Some great videos from some of our spa instructors, our spa directors, our fitness instructors. There's even a fitness component attached to it. So much great information and resources there.
Yes, this is an interesting point that you are bringing to the conversation, because I wanted to talk also about the MO magazine that first started with the printed issue, printed publication that you would get at your room when you arrive in a hotel in any property of Mandarin Oriental, but then became online, of course, with the website and all this technology. All this magazine became online, but it has gone much further than that. And now with the pandemic, they were very creative, and I love to share all these special programs or cooking classes, or talking about even inside the DNA of Mandarin Oriental, but brought it in a very innovative way, I'd say. And tell me more about the MO magazine online, because not many people do access this, and I'm always sending links to them to share.
Well, thank you for endorsing Mandarin MO magazine online. It's a wonderful resource, as you say, and it's so full of some great information. I actually find myself reading it as well, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, it's not your typical publication, which is now online, but we do have it in room as well. But there are some great articles from some amazing, contributors that are speaking not only to destinations, but also to, the current state of affairs. And, we obviously know that we're in this pandemic, and so that's a stressful time. So there's articles that you'll find there relating to stress management, how to sleep better, how to nourish your body better, how to manage your time better, how to reconnect with loved ones. I mean, there's so many great articles that are there and highlighted on MO Magazine on our website. So it's available, and you can peruse it. It's got some great stuff, and again, I think it's something that's maybe not promoted as well, because people don't necessarily go to a website to read a magazine. Obviously, we would have the ability, for you to subscribe to it, but it's a great resource. So I encourage everyone to take a moment to take a look.
That's very true. But I think that the website of Mandarin Oriental is more than just a hotel group website. It's like a platform. And I love also, and I always share, and started sharing this when we had like only the printed publication, was the tips from the concierge. Because when you go, for instance, I've never been to Kuala Lumpur. It's my first visit to Kuala Lumpur. Instead of going to TripAdvisor that has like a audience that is very, very, very big, I would go to Mandarin Oriental website to check the tips of that are designed for the guests of Mandarin Oriental. So I think this makes a difference, because they know a little bit of about the guests, and will drive their tips to this typical guest of Mandarin Oriental, right?
You're exactly right. And, it's a great resource for many reasons. And one of the key features is guides of the locale. The concierge recommends some insider information on experiences, things to see, things to do, places to eat. Yes. It's a great resource for certain.
And even journalists, travel journalists, writing about their own city, for instance, the one from Milano that I have read before going to Milano recently, and to get updates on the city, what's going on that is new, like the Prada Foundation that I visited for the first time last year. So things that even are not so new, but for me was. So I got there and saw many contents that you can share. For instance, like a travel agent that needs to share tips with their own clients if they never visit the city. So that's a very good source, I would say, right?
I agree. And for the audience members today that are travel advisors, travel planners, certainly it's a plethora of information, and it's a resource that I think has been there, but may not be certainly promoted as well. So we're telling you now, Marisa and I, go to mandarinoriental.com for some great resources on the MO magazine online, some great content.
Yeah, and talking about travel agents, that I said I usually send it as a tip to travel agents to share with their clients. Tell me more about the partnerships that Mandarin Oriental offers to as a group to the travel industry, not only participating, of course, in the main events worldwide. At this time is having the first online virtuoso travel week that some of the Mandarin Oriental properties are participating, but also like Cannes, that we don't know what's going to happen, or even Le Miami. But beyond that, what are the actions and the support that you offer for the travel industry as a company?
Sure. Thank you for that question. I want to start off and certainly say that the travel industry is a huge, important and valuable part of our business. It's the backbone in many ways. You know, the majority of our properties are in locations that are very conducive, not only to business travel, but also to leisure trips. And you can see some of the recent developments are more resort focused. We have some great additions, obviously, with Marrakesh and Bodrum. But, you know, certainly the purpose of travel is not as relevant as it is around the support that we really appreciate from our travel agency community. We see the travel agency community really as an extension of ourselves, the global sales offices and the global sales team. We work together in unison, and Marisa, you know this. You're an extension of what we're doing here in North America, but there specifically in Brazil. You're, as we say, the boots on the ground for us, and talking to our travel industry and travel agency clients. It's really important that we articulate that we're committed to supporting you in each and every way. We'd love to be able to do what we traditionally have done, which is to visit in person, bring our hotels to come to the market. I was so disappointed that we didn't have ILTM Sao Paulo this year. I attended actually last year I attended, and that was my first time, and I was so impressed, so amazed by the travel industry in Brazil, and it, you know, went to some great parties, but more importantly made some great connections, and really enjoyed just getting to meet some of our customers in Brazil. So for us, we depend on our clients in Brazil, and more importantly, we depend on our travel agency partners in Brazil. We need your continued support, and you have our commitment that we will support you in each and every way. If we can't be there in person to visit you, you know, we can be creative and do webinars or similar to what we're doing here with Xmart Live. There's so many different ways we can connect, but more importantly, you have our commitment at the hotel level, certainly to be engaged and responsible. Right now, I think one of the key messages that we want to share is it's about flexibility, right? And that relates to cancel policies, etc. So, you know, we want you to know that we are in this together, and we will work with you as diligently as we ever have, if not more so, to provide the support. You know, like I say, you're an extension of us, and we're dedicated to working together.
Yes, and not talking about meeting people in person, and not only like in their offices or while participating in a big event like ILTM, but also hosting these people to visit the hotels in loco, which is, in my opinion, makes a lot of difference. If they cannot experience like staying at the hotel for a couple nights, but maybe we can invite them for a breakfast or for a tea in London, for instance, and this kind of activities that the hotel offer, which is a real experience. And then these travel agents will go back home with the feeling that he knows a little bit more about the Mandarin Oriental, right?
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. There's no better way to sell and support if you haven't physically seen the location and the property, whether it's an overnight stay or, as you say, whether it's a meal, even if it's just even a site inspection.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
to physically be there, to physically see it, I think adds tremendous value to selling and converting that sale into an actual booking. So it's highly valuable, and we will support you as soon as we can start traveling again. I know Brazil is similar to the U.S. at the moment, where we can't go anywhere really, but those restrictions are easing little by little. But as soon as those restrictions are lifted, please, if you can get out and travel and experience one of our locations, we would be really happy about that.
Yes, for sure. And talking about this very unique period we are all living, Mandarin Oriental has like very quickly acted as creating a program that you call We Care. And I see this, of course, was a big surprise for everyone, but also as a something that took you, pressed you out of the comfort zone, right? And so we were invited to create different programs and communicate different, right? This is the essence of this program, and how to communicate with the travel industry. How do we communicate with our own employees, starting with our own community, which is our employees that works in my office here in Brazil, in Rio, in São Paulo, in your office in New York, in the hotel. So tell me a little bit more about the essence of this beautiful program that were created. That's called We Care. Nós cuidamos.
Well, we do care tremendously, and you know, I wish I could take credit for that program name, but it's I know I cannot. But
Okay.
I want to say before I dive into that is, you know, even before the current situation and the pandemic that we're in, we've always approached the wellness, health, and safety of our guests and colleagues very seriously. It's always been a key value set for us, you know, the health, safety, and wellness of all of our stakeholders. With the pandemic, we've actually had to recalibrate. And when I say that, what we've done is we've added incremental protocols excuse me, to what we're doing already that we were at in place. So it's really enhanced. It's more fully developed protocols relating to, excuse me, not only the stay, but it starts with the pre-arrival. And so one of the things that we really set out to do with our response to the pandemic was really just you know, develop a task force. So that's the first thing that we did is our group head of rooms and risk put together some of our general managers, and there was a task force that was created. And one of the first things that they did is they identified the different types of guests that potentially would be returning to our hotels. And we've categorized those guests. Obviously, most people would fit into a category of COVID conscious. Those individuals that are very concerned, are following the protocols as outlined locally and within their own place of origin. But we also realize that there are other guests out there. There are probably some that are even going to be more super conscious about wellness, health. And we call those sort of the super COVID sensitive group. And then we also have a third group, which we call the COVID fatigued. So the COVID fatigued means I've had enough. You know, I'm okay. I'm not so concerned. So we've got three audiences that our hotels have taken an approach to addressing. And what is so important about the We Care program is it is highly customized to these three audiences, taking into account that you've got three different mindsets potentially that are going to arrive to your hotel. And we also realize that somebody's approach to staying in a hotel may change during their stay as it relates to the pandemic. So you might start out being super COVID conscious, and then when you check out, you may say, wow, I'm more comfortable. I have a lot more confidence in how the hotel cared for me, provided me with all the things that made me feel safe. And that guest may check out and say, gosh, I'm COVID conscious, but I'm not super COVID conscious anymore. So it's really interesting. So, from the pre-arrival point, we do some interviews. We send out some questionnaires, provide some basic information so you know about the requirements entering into the country, if there are any local criteria that's required. So that's all part of the pre-arrival process. And then when you're in-house, we actually have scripts and diagrams for the employees. They're highly trained on how to respond to, how to provide service to the three categories I described: the COVID conscious, the super COVID conscious, and the COVID fatigued guest. And so our employees are being trained on how to deliver service, how to approach physical interaction with these guests. It's highly detailed. There's diagrams and spreadsheets and things that would be too boring to go over for the purpose of today. But it's sort of a whole document. It's sort of the book of all the things that our employees in hotels need to do. But I also want to say that we're also customizing. Upon arrival, you'll get what we call a We Care kit. That We Care kit is face masks, obviously with our logo and the We Care program identity. We have got gloves and hand sanitizers, etc. So it's a really well thought out program. The approach we've taken has been very thoughtful, again, taking into account that every person is unique and individual in terms of experiencing a hotel stay during this time. So the We Care program is on the website. I don't want to keep referring to the website, but there's a great resource there that shares some more detail on the We Care program.
Yes, for those who are interested in knowing how is the approach, and especially I'd say it's a very big challenge for the front desk people that are there just doing the check-in as usual, and now he has to approach, or she has to approach the guest with a questionnaire or forms and things that they are really boring to fill in, and it's not like something that you want to think when you arrive in a hotel, especially from long journeys, right?
Very true. But I will say, as a commitment, certainly for anyone that's on this live feed, you have our commitment. If you have questions, reach out. Marisa will get the information, or will connect you with the hotels directly. We'll make sure that you've got the most, accurate information, and there's no question that's, not appropriate. You need to ask questions. You need to have your client feel comfortable. We want to help you have the information that you need.
Of course, yeah.
So, we're very flexible, and we're very conscious that everyone has different needs during this time.
Well, I'd say that from Brazilian perspective, we don't like forms at all, and filling in all this information. But of course, the travel agent and us and you and all the staff from the properties will try to make the guests understand this is something that is not forever. but we both need it for the safe of both sides, right?
It's very true.
Yeah, but tell me more about the hotels that are ready to reopen soon. Some of them are already opened. One case that we have been very successful with guests arriving is Canua. For those who doesn't know the property yet, it's located in the south of Caribbean, and it's like a free zone of all the hurricanes. So it's a safe place to go in next months like September, October, November, and they have already launched the New Year's program as well. And we are eager to go back to US and to Europe, but of course still with some restrictions, except
Right.
for those Brazilians who have European passports. All the rest of us need to wait a little bit more. But we have some news regarding some hotels that are ready to open soon, right?
Absolutely. I'm gonna respond with saying, first off, thank you for talking about Canawan just now. I like to call it heaven on earth. For those that haven't visited, it's one of the most magical places in the Caribbean. And I have to also say thank you to the Brazilian community for sending business our way. We reopened on July 1st, just a little over 6 weeks ago. And I was recently on a phone call yesterday with the general manager, Duarte Correa, who did one of these XMARTing calls a couple of weeks ago. And Duarte, I said to him, I said, I'm going to be on a similar call with Marisa and the Xmart team. I said, do you have any messages for me? And he said, yes, say thank you, obrigado, because the Brazilians, at least based on passports, were the #1 group of customers for the whole month of July.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, special message and thank you for all of our Brazilian friends that made a commitment to coming. Obviously, as you mentioned, it's not that difficult to get to. It's fairly reasonable. Certainly, if you have a private jet or clients that fly privately, it's a little easier. But we also do have a private jet available that will connect you from Barbados and some of the other islands into Canawan. So access should not be a concern. But one of the other great features about Canawan are the villas. We have amazing villas, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom villas. Each of them have private pools. Some of them are designed in a more traditional, Caribbean style, and the others are very modern and highly stylized in an Italian design. So we've got some really great options, and villas right now are becoming very, very valuable for families that want to get away and travel together and be contained within one unit. So it's proven very successfully. The Brazilians already figured it out, and that's why you guys were there for the month of July. But there's plenty of space. We have the rest of the year. And I do want to say, for anyone that is looking for holiday plans, December, January, we've relaxed a little bit of the cancellation policies for that period this year. So take a look at that. It's in the GDS, or if you go to the website to reserve, certainly you'll see some of those updated cancel policies.
Yes, and minimum of nights. That's always like 10 days, 14 days. This year is 5 nights.
Right, that's right.
So the
length of stay requirements have been shortened, but also cancel policies and deposit requirements have been relaxed a bit as well. But again, I don't want anything to be a deterrent. If you've got a customer that's interested in going to Canawan, just reach out, please. We will work with you.
Yeah. And then comes Dubai, which I think I'm betting will be a very good option for the Brazilians traveling with Emirates to Maldives. That is a fever in Brazil. I'm so sad that we don't have a property there, but
one day maybe.
Yeah, maybe one day. And all those traveling to Asia, but let's go to Dubai. Let's go figure out what's there. Flavia from Salvador is saying, let's go to Dubai. I'm in, Flavia. I don't know the property yet. Bruno does know the property. I don't. So I have to check in this one.
It's a great place. It's a great city to visit, and our hotel, our resort. You know, we're really in the middle of the city, but we're on the beach, Jumeirah Beach. It's a great location. You're so convenient to everything. And certainly the hotel is stunning. But let's not forget the Portuguese chef that is there. So that's also very...
José Avilés, that is from Portugal.
Very key. Very key component. So you get a little bit of the Portuguese cooking when you're in Dubai. But you're right, the flights with Emirates will be a great access point, not only to Dubai, but other points in the region.
Yes, for sure. And about the structure of the hotel, that helps a lot as well, because it's on the beach, lots of open air space, which is really good, right?
No, for sure. It's very open air. All the rooms have terraces. Certainly, there's a lot of fresh air flowing through the property. So it's a great place for those that might be slightly more COVID conscious. You know, to have that fresh air. I would like, if I could, I'm just keeping track of the time, is to talk about you know, what's open and maybe what's yet to open. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have 33 properties, and certainly all of those are open, with the following exceptions. I think it's easy to do the exceptions because the majority have reopened, and so that's really important to articulate to everyone, is we are really up and running in almost every location except the following. I'll start off with sort of, you know, the ones that are currently scheduled to reopen very soon. We'll talk about Milan, is scheduled to reopen 1st of September. That is the current plan. Paris, we're also looking at reopening at some point in September. We also have in the Americas 3 that are currently closed: Boston, Washington, and New York. We're hoping for Washington later this month. We're hoping for Boston in September. That's the plan. And we're hoping for New York in October.
Okay.
Also closest to Brazil is one of our newest properties in Santiago in Chile. That is reopening in early part of September. So very exciting. The Americas really is the region that is impacted the most, but we will reopen, and those properties that I mentioned are slated for the next couple of months. I will mention a very important one that is under current renovations and very true and dear to most people, is the Ritz Madrid Mandarin Oriental. That has been closed for renovations over the last 2 years, and we are expected to reopen Q1 of 2021. So that one is waiting for that bright light to reopen in January, February time. That's when we're expecting it to reopen. But the Ritz Madrid is going to be a very important hotel, you know, coming back online for us. And then there's one that I didn't mention, which is Barcelona. Barcelona will reopen most likely in September as well.
Okay. Well, we are eager to start booking Ritz Madrid. And we have already had some agencies calling and willing to do like for New Year's, for January. So we can't wait to see what will be the final date for the reopening of this beautiful property. And Santiago, Santiago, we have Raul here, we have Margarita join us today. So I'm really happy. And we have already bookings for Santiago for October. So hopefully all the Brazilians will be able to travel to Chile. Might be one of my first international trips, I can say.
No, for those that haven't seen the property, it was recently rebranded earlier this year officially as our first Mandarin Oriental in South America. So huge historical moment for our brand. Our first property in South America, and there specifically in Santiago. It's stunning. It's the Mandarin Oriental Santiago, and I highly encourage a visit. So yes, I think that certainly we have a lot happening with the brand I mentioned earlier, and I'd like to touch on, if I may, just a few of the projects that have been announced. These dates are subject to change based on owner's timeline. So certainly, you know, these are not in pen, but I'd love to at least talk about the future. I think it's healthy to talk about the future, right? So some of the ones, and these are sort of based on the order that we have at the moment, based on the information we have in the current project. Europe is a huge focus for us. So Lake Lucerne in Switzerland, we have taken over the management of the historic property there on Lake Lucerne, in the center of Lucerne, expected to open at some point late this year, most likely Q1 of 2021. That one is coming very soon after Madrid. Honolulu, Hawaii is being developed, and that is expected to open at some point, most likely late next year, possibly into 2022. Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, we have a project that is also slated to open with, you know, late 21, early 22 dates. Another one back in the Americas, Boca Raton, Florida. So that's a little closer, to Brazil, and easy to coordinate with a Miami visit. That is a project that's been in development for some time, and we're looking at around a similar opening time, late 2021, 2022.
Yes, Vienna as well, right?
Vienna we announced this year. That's slated to open 2023. We've also what will open before is Istanbul. A project on the Bosphorus will be opening, not reopening, soon in 2022. You know, at the latest. We also have Grand Cayman, Moscow, Tel Aviv, and then a second hotel in Istanbul. So that's sort of in the pipeline for us. We've got some great projects, like I say. And you never know, we could have another location in South America. That would be my biggest wish.
Yes, if anyone here knows a hotel, tell me.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, but I'm very, very excited about Istanbul. I've been to the property in Bodrum, which is also like a big resort with villas and apartments, which is great, right? And so we'll match very well with Istanbul. And we have direct flights with Turkish Airlines from Brazil, which makes our life also easier to plan a trip to this beautiful country. And,
absolutely.
Bruno is asking about Brazil. Oh, Bruno, we are waiting for that. Let's see one day.
You find a rich owner for us, and we will talk about it. I'm not in development, but I know our development team is looking at every opportunity that we can to expand the brand in the right places. And Brazil is certainly one of those locations. You know, I don't have anything definite, not even a rumor, but I know it's a focus for us to expand in South America. And, you know, we could talk tomorrow, Marisa, and I could have a brand new announcement for you. I don't know.
Yes, right.
But it would be wonderful to be in Brazil for sure.
And Brazil, we want first Rio de Janeiro, okay? Not only the first in Brazil, but the first in Rio.
Okay, I don't know. I think our friends in Sao Paulo may want to arm wrestle for the first one. I don't know.
Well, but the best view, and I know that the Mandarin Oriental praises a lot for the views, the beautiful views that the hotels have. So the best view is undoubtedly in Rio de Janeiro.
I think you're biased. Marisa.
Okay. Well, anything else that you want to give as a message to our audience? Of course, there are many people that will hear to this live after that will be saved. So you can hear it again from the beginning for those who didn't arrive on time. but also for those people who we will share with them and will watch with their staff of the travel agencies, everyone. What would be your final message here for them?
My final message, but not my final answer, is, for those that were not able to watch this session live, and I'm glad it's being recorded so it can be shared. I just want everyone to know that, the travel agency community in Brazil and our meeting planners are very important and valuable to our business. And again, we are highly committed to supporting you through Marisa directly with the hotels. We appreciate, all the support that you've been giving the brand over the last 50 plus years. It's an important market for us to have customers visiting from Brazil, but from everywhere, of course, but it's a key component to our success. And I just want to ensure that you have our commitment that we will work with you in any possible way, particularly during these times, to be flexible, to be extra supportive. Again, if you have questions about how our hotels are responding and what protocols they have in place related to the pandemic, ask. We can give you as much detail as you want. Maybe even those spreadsheets that I described, and the diagrams that are very detailed. But there's a lot of information that we have, and you're an extension of what we do in all of our global sales offices. Yes. And so we really, we want to make sure that we're as transparent as possible, that you have all the information that you need, and that you really feel confident to support and reserve hotels for our mutual clients. I think that's very valuable. It's a highly difficult time, and it's about partnership. And yes. We appreciate the partnership with all of our agency partners in Brazil. It's important that we stay connected, and this is a great venue to stay connected. So I thank you, Marisa, for organizing this, for putting this together, for inviting me. I felt very honored. I couldn't believe you said, "Would you like to do this?" And I said, "Me? You want me to do it?" I'm a little modest, but I have really grown accustomed to my new Brazilian friends, and I look forward to being able to return very, very soon. My passport misses going to Brazil, and more importantly, I miss seeing all of you, and I hope we can connect in the near future. And if you can get to New York anytime soon, I welcome a visit with you, and we can go out for a coffee, a tea, or a glass of wine or something. So please come visit if you can. So thank you for your continued support. Yeah, highly valued.
This is great. I used to say, like on my daily basis, that the most important thing that we do is to connect dots. Dots means people. Can be via email or introducing someone that will be key to the successful of the guest's satisfaction in X property. Doesn't matter where, but having the right people connected and ready to help your guest is yourself there. It's like an ambassador. We are just ambassadors of these properties, but the people who really makes a difference is the people who are in the hotel, and we need them. And maybe give them some tips about the profile of that hotel. For instance, this week we had someone arriving in London that doesn't like at all to be pampered with wine or fruits in the room. Can you believe so? Yes, there is this kind of people. And I was so happy that the travel agents share this information with us. So we connected with the hotel, put them in connection with the hotel, and explained to them, well, this client is like this, like that. So the guest is expected already to be pleased the way he likes. But of course, we like to so much to surprise them as well, So those small little things that the high-end luxury properties do is amazing. Like another day, I told you this quick story about Mandarin Oriental Milano concierge that took me to the square to get my bike. I'm sorry. Bye-bye. We have to say bye-bye because Instagram will close us right now.
Invite me back. I'll come back.